Hey guys, welcome to Micah Tech, where we talk about technology and spending money wisely. Today, we're going to talk about the iPhone 15 Pro Max, this guy right here. I put up a poll on the channel this weekend, and the votes came in that we would do a video about the features and a deep dive into the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to dive into the features, pricing, and value of the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's get started. Okay guys, let's get started with a quick overview of my iPhone 15 Pro Max. We'll show you here in footage. So this is my iPhone 15 Pro Max in natural titanium with 256 gigabytes, just basically the base mode that you can get for $1,200. We've got a nice little Zag screen protector on mine, but nothing other than that is super special. I do have a case that I use for it often. It's over in one of my containers for when I film. But I just gotta say, I love my iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's a great phone. I think for me, my favorite thing about the iPhone 15 Pro Max is the look and the feel of the phone. I had the 13 Pro Max and the 14 Pro previously, and they were just heavier, honestly. The stainless steel left fingerprints everywhere, just wasn't my favorite aesthetically pleasing phone. But this, I gotta say, it's an awesome phone. It literally is so much lighter than you would think it would be because of the titanium chassis. The titanium chassis doesn't fingerprint super easily. I'm not saying it does or does not, but it doesn't as bad as the stainless steel from the generations prior. It's just such a sleek phone, guys. I love the more rounded edges that they added in this iteration of iPhone, and I hope that they keep with this design moving forward into the 16s and the 16 Pro Max and Pro line. But this is the one I chose. I love it. Would I go back? We'll discuss that at the end of the video. But what I will say is I definitely think that the incremental improvements they made, this phone is great. But let's dig into how I use it first. Then we'll dig into some of the features like the tetraprism lens, the action button, and USB-C. Then we'll dig in at the end of the video into my opinion on if you should buy it, if it's worth the money, or some alternatives to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. All right guys, let's take a look at what I use on my 15 Pro Max for productivity. So if you notice here, I've got my home page set up. This is my first landing page. I use all of these apps pretty regularly. Notes, Instagram, Facebook, photos, email. I am practicing Spanish, so Duolingo, and YouTube Studio for just checking on YouTube videos and publishing content. I also keep my reminders in the top left, and then I'll show you this widget here in a little bit. If we swipe over, similar thing, all the most important apps. I've got my own little custom widget here, which is a widget widget. Widget allows you to custom make your own widgets. Basically, it just shows me what music is playing on this little iPod, which I thought was really cool. If we come back over here, we have my clock, same in the black and white theme. This background actually changes depending on the time of day, so I have mine set to basically a natural titanium background. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's even green. If we come in here, this widget right here actually launches my liked playlist for me and shuffles my liked playlist, which is awesome through Apple Music. You'll also notice that when I did that, the app that powers it also will give me an update on my current refresh rate and CPU usage. Another nice thing that I have set up is if you click on my dynamic island here, I can pull up 4 different apps that I've programmed into the dynamic island that I can access very quickly. So if I need to go to Google, click Google. But I can take it a step further. If we go here to the lock screen, you'll notice that we've got the same apps right here, and these apps will unlock from the lock screen. So if I want to go to Google, boom, takes me to Google. Lock it again. If I want to go to YouTube, boom, takes me to YouTube. And if I want to go to my music, takes me to music. I also have, in smaller sections here, another shortcut to my like playlist if I just want to set it up for my lock screen. A way to call my wife if I need to, my Apple Watch battery percentage, and then Duolingo. So that's just how I have my phone set up. A couple things I wanted to point out are basically how I have some of the features set up on my phone. So how do I use the action button? Do I use the 5x tetraprism lens? Things like that. So if we go in here, my action button is actually set to Google Translate. The reason I do this is when I'm talking to my friends who speak fluent Spanish, I'm still learning how to listen. And so sometimes when I want to talk back, if I don't know the words perfectly, I'll use this to basically spat out the sentence. It's the only thing I ever use on my action button. If it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't use my action button. There's some shortcuts I've put in there to unlock certain apps, but I just find that even more redundant. So for now, that's what I have my action button. You notice that we've got 1x, 2x, and then 5x as well as your ultra wide. One of the really cool things I can do is I can go into the 1x, switch to 28 millimeters and 35 millimeters, and then back to 24 millimeters respectively. Another really cool thing is switch to 2x zoom. Notice that I don't lose any of the quality. The same with 5x zoom. I figured it'd be fun to show you the Coke and the Reese's because that's like my favorite two snacks. All right, guys, let's take a look at USB-C real quick, and then we'll talk about the 3 reasons you would consider upgrading to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. USB-C obviously is a huge win for the iPhone series as a whole. Coming from Lightning for the last decade, USB-C is so much nicer. I didn't think I would care that much, but the fact that I can use one cord for everything, the fact that it goes both ways, and the fact that I can now export my videos and photos to an external drive, which you could do it before with Lightning, but it's so much better now with USB-C. It's a win. Thunderbolt support for the iPhone. I believe the 15 Pro Max supports Thunderbolt 3, whereas like the iPad support Thunderbolt 4, but having that ability to export files quickly from phone to drive to iPad, or vice versa, just makes life so much easier. It's a huge win. Like I said, it should have been done a long time ago, but the fact that we're finally here now is a win in its own right. Let's talk about the 3 reasons you would want to consider upgrading to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. We'll start with reason number 1. You have an older iPhone. You may have an 11 Pro sitting around, you may have your SE, saving a little bit of money over the last couple of years, but you're thinking about upgrading. The 15 Pro Max would be a huge win for anybody with that phone or older. I think the changes alone in your software, to the chipset, to the cameras, would be very noticeable going from an 11 or an SE to the 15 Pro Max. So that would be my first reason for considering upgrade. The second reason I would consider an upgrade would be the camera system alone. 48 megapixel main camera sensor, the ultra wide camera, and you have the 5x tetraprism only in the 15 Pro Max. I think those features for anybody who wants to do filming or photography, the 15 Pro Max make a case that it's just as good as some professional cameras. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that compare it to, say, a Canon Rebel T7 or some higher end cameras out there that people used to film their videos on, and it's hard to tell much of a difference. Now, I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying that the gap between an iPhone and a professional camera has gotten thinner and thinner over the years, and especially so with the 15 Pro Max. The third and final reason you'd want to consider an upgrade would be Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is only going to come to the 15 Pro series and newer. So if you have a 14, 13, 12, 11, etc., you will not have the Apple Intelligence features. I think a lot of people who are having those older phones may consider upgrading just for that reason alone. Now, of course, you could wait till the 16 comes out and you're almost guaranteed that the base iPhone will come with Apple Intelligence. But if you're in a place to where you can upgrade and it's affordable for you, the 15 Pro Max would be a wise decision. From there, let's talk about my opinion on if you should upgrade. Is it worth the money? I've had my 15 Pro Max now for just a little over 2 months. I came from the 14 Pro, and I will say that, do I think it's worth the money? It depends. Is it worth the money for people who can afford it? Yes, but the problem is $1,200 for a phone is just really expensive. I was very fortunate that I had an upgrade available with my mobile provider to where I could trade in my older phone for my 15 Pro Max, and I ended up actually getting a credit on my account. So as long as I don't leave, I get to keep the phone for free, and I'll be able to upgrade to the 16 here later this year. If you're not in that position to where you're having to shell out that amount of money, it depends on the phone you have. For me, if I could go back to any iPhone I've had, it would be the 13 Pro Max. The battery life, the features, the ProMotion really blew me away when I switched from the previous 12, which is what I had before. It was a night and day difference. I was actually kind of sad that I had to get rid of that phone. I had to get rid of it when I took a new job and they bought the phone from me. Never was able to get it back. Do I like the 15 Pro Max? Yes. I'm glad I upgraded, but I would be leery of upgrading as of right now, considering a lot of factors. So if your phone isn't that old, I wouldn't upgrade. If you're don't have an upgrade available, I would wait. Or if your phone is new, I would wait as well. It's not something that, like, if you have a 15 or a 14 Pro or a 14, that I would say, oh, it's time to upgrade to the 15 Pro Max. Like I said before, if you have an older phone, it's worth it. But I would hold off until at least the 16s and the 16 Pro series comes out before deciding if you want to make the jump. And then you can actually save some money on the 15 Pro Max, and you might be able to get away with buying it for $200 less than it is retailing for now. That's something that's definitely worth the money. Guys, I just want to thank you for the support over these last couple of days and weeks. I'm super excited to continue to put out videos for you bi-weekly now. When I say bi-weekly, I don't mean twice a month, I mean 2 times a week. Or I should have said twice weekly. I digress. Sometimes I get a little ahead of myself and the brain goes faster than the mouth. But seriously, the support has been super appreciated. The channel is growing faster than I thought, and I'm super excited to continue to put out content for you. And I'd love to continue to have your feedback in the comments below on what you'd like to see next. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much.